Hey, good Sunday evening, everyone. It is January 25th, 2026. Major winter storm wrapping up across the region, and one of the bigger snows we've seen in quite some time, especially for parts of southern Illinois, say north of Route 13 to I-64. Multiple reports of over a foot of snow in about an 18-hour span. So we're dealing with the effects of that. The winter storm wrapping up pretty much all done here. Maybe a couple flurries through the overnight hours, but more than anything, as this thing exits, we're going to start seeing skies clear. And with the clear skies comes some extremely cold weather. In fact, some of the coldest weather we've seen around here in years. So there's radar this evening. You can see there goes all the snow and all the winter weather out to our east. Snowfall totals across the area. These came from the National Weather Service office. A lot of reports coming in, and appreciate all of your comments and through over the last couple of days and sending those my way as well. Really relaying some of those to the National Weather Service. They're getting some reports in. Also, it just really helps us figure out where the heaviest snow was falling. Late Saturday night, it was also helping us figure out exactly where that sleet and snow line was lining up. But Benton, Tamaroa, northern parts of Perry County, they're picking up over a foot of snow. Murfreesboro, a foot of snow. Mount Vernon, about a foot. DuQuoin, Harrisburg, all coming in at a foot. We had forecasted about 10 to 14 inches, so kind of right in line with what was expected. I know there was some social media buzz about seeing more than 14 inches and up to 20 inches of snow. Just did not think that was going to happen with some of the limited amounts of moisture that were available. But either way, just a really big snowstorm for us here in southern Illinois. We also saw some sleet mixing in a few areas, and that was one of the issues that we saw there in Marion and areas like Metropolis. Not quite as much snow, and I say issues, not quite as much snow. Still 8 to 9 inches of snow. That's a lot of snow. But sleet for 1 to 2 hours kind of helped bring some of those totals down less than 10 inches. So it gives you an idea, and we appreciate, of course, all of your reports. This is The View Sunday evening from a camera brought to you by Northbridge IT Services, looking out over I-57. That's the hill and Morgan Avenue. And you can see that IDOT has done a tremendous job getting the interstate clear, at least one lane. And in some instances, looks like maybe those northbound lanes actually getting 2 lanes of traffic cleared. Also want to give a huge shout out to all of the crews that are out and about clearing parking lots, clearing city streets, clearing county roads, and clearing the interstate. It's a lot of work, tireless work, and we really appreciate you guys as well. I know that it does take a lot of work to get all of that done. Checking in on road reports this evening. Let me slide over to that. The IDOT map here. All right, there we go. Notice covered roads extend all the way up into northern Illinois and then down into southern Illinois as well. We've got a little bit of improvement, mostly covered with ice and snow through Jackson, Union, Alexander counties, but elsewhere covered roadways. And again, you saw that on I-57. We've got mostly covered, it looks like they're reporting, but meanwhile, Route 37 is still covered. Highway 45 still covered as well. So I'm not saying you can't go anywhere Sunday night, Monday morning. I know a lot of folks may be heading to work Monday morning. I'm not going to say you can't get there. I think you can, but make sure you're planning plenty of extra time on that. Now that the snow has ended, the big story becomes the extremely cold weather moving in behind this storm system. These are the coldest temperatures in Carbondale, reported out at the airport there, since the year 2000. And I think we might add one of those early Monday morning. Coldest temperatures coming back in 2004, right around Christmas time. Anywhere from, 2 mornings where we had 10 below on the Christmas Eve, and then Christmas Day we actually had 11 below zero in the morning there. But the last time that we saw temperatures 5 degrees below zero was 2022. It came back in December of 2022. So I think it's going to be the coldest that we've seen around here in years. We'll see how cold we get. Right now, my forecast actually is for 7 degrees below zero in Carbondale. So that would come in there right at the 2015 mark, where we also saw 7 degrees below zero. So here you go, forecasted temperatures on Monday morning, expected to be below zero, area-wide, all across southern Illinois, anywhere from 5 to 7 degrees below zero expected. And I can't rule out a few spots maybe even getting lower than that. It really is going to depend on if the wind kind of calms down enough. With that snowpack on the ground, the bottom is the limit, we'll say, as that what we call radiational cooling, that heat down here at the ground level kind of covered up by the snow, and all excess heat is released out in the atmosphere. It's a recipe for some very, very cold weather. And then you factor in the breeze. Look at this. Now, these are wind chills. What it is going to feel like on Monday morning. And these are some of the lowest wind chills we've also seen since 2022. Wind chills projected anywhere from 20 to 25 degrees below zero. That is some very, very cold weather, and cold enough that if you have exposed skin and you're outside, that's actually going to lead to frostbite in less than 30 minutes. So just keep that in mind. If you're heading out Monday morning, make sure you're bundled up. Make sure you've got maybe a face mask or a scarf covering up any exposed skin. Well, we appreciate all of these videos each week, try to bring you this, and these are brought to you by Clark Mix On Site Concrete, located on the east side of Marion. And gosh, looking at that video there, it looks like a nice scene, maybe at Lake of Egypt. But Mix On Site Concrete saves you time, saves you money, all your concrete needs. Make sure you're giving Clark Mix On Site Concrete a call. All right, here is that 5-day forecast. Notice that we've got temperatures staying below freezing all week long. So this is a prolonged spell of cold weather. 7 degrees below zero Monday morning. A little sunshine through the day on Monday. That's going to help, but the high still only in the teens. Tuesday, I do think we're going to start seeing some melting on darker colored surfaces. So things like asphalt roads, oil and chip roads, concrete roads, probably going to start seeing a little bit of melting as temperatures climb close to the freezing mark on Tuesday. But then we're right back in the deep freeze the rest of the week. Afternoon high temperatures dipping back to the teens once again by Friday. Morning temperatures below zero in some areas to into the single digits elsewhere. So some very, very cold weather expected here over the next week. So when is the warm-up? Well, let's talk about that. All right, so we go through this week. Big upper level trough across the eastern half of the U.S. There's Tuesday. And there's just more of the same. This big upper level trough here in the eastern half of the U.S. is going to keep bringing a lot of cold air southward through the week. We get in here Friday, that kind of retrogrades. There's that big trough working its way southward. It keeps the real cold air in here. I heard some talk on social media about another storm system. Right now, that is not on my radar at all. In fact, through the rest of this week, through the weekend, maybe some flurries or something like that next weekend, but overall, not expecting another snowmaker at this point. But as we get into, Tuesday, 3rd, 4th, that's February 3rd, 4th, maybe 5th, you'll have this trough across the southeastern U.S. That's going to keep bringing some cooler air in. A big ridge starting to build out west. That might start to roll over just a bit as we head into that the end of that first week of February. So something to keep in mind. That's the end of next week. Possibly seeing at least some milder weather starting to move our way. I wanted to show you this as well. I need to see this on days like today. I don't like the cold, but I know we've got to deal with it. I know some folks just love the winter weather, but 54 days until spring. That's just about 8 weeks away. So it is going to come up fast here as we start to wrap up January and head into February. In the meantime, make sure you are staying warm. Make sure you are checking on friends, family, pets. I'm going to go back to those temperature maps real quick. Again, these are Monday morning temperatures. Not a bad idea Sunday night to drip faucets. We're going to have ours dripping here at the house. Maybe open up the cabinet doors as well. Let some of that heat in. That is, even if you're in even if you've got a crawl space or even if you've got a slab. Make sure that you are taking some extra precautions. Again, this is cold weather we just don't see around here that often. But, you may also, again, make sure that you're checking on pets, making sure that you're checking on friends, family, neighbors. Just make sure that everybody is safe. This is some very, very cold and really dangerously cold stuff here over the next couple of days. You can track all of this on the Nick Housen Weather app. Again, stay warm, stay safe, everyone, and appreciate all of your support. Have a great week.